So in the spirit of keeping things interesting and trying new things, pushing comfort zones and all that fun stuff, today I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can begin to include jumping into your training with your horse, even if you've never jumped before. Dun dun dun. Yeah, seriously, 3 different exercises. Okay, let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to the Daily Strides podcast. My name is Lorna Leeson. I'm an equestrian trainer and coach, and I just love working with riders to help them, up everything, make everything better, especially riders who don't have the advantage of having a trainer or coach with them all the time. Okay, so we're talking about jumping, and I know for many riders this is something that they're like, no, this one's not for me, forward on. Mark has played, hey? But no, really, this is important, okay? I think that one of our responsibilities as the rider is to be able to keep things interesting for both ourselves and our horses. And if we're doing the same thing day in and day out, well, chances are it's not all that interesting anymore now, is it? But if we can begin to include different elements with our riding and with our training, elements that make us mentally have to think differently, but also physically use our bodies differently, it is actually going to really and truly help us to become better at the things that we actually want to do. So let me say that again, slightly differently. If you're really into dressage and you love flat work, jumping can actually help improve that for you because it makes you and your horse think and work differently. So that all being said, I'm hoping I've convinced you, okay? We want to talk about 3 different exercises that you can use, maybe not all this week, okay? Maybe you can space these out a little bit, okay, over the coming holiday period. But 3 different exercises that you can use in order to really and truly begin to add this in a way that is going to be beneficial for you and your horse, because otherwise, well, what's the point of adding it? So the very first exercise is a pole on the ground. Now, if you're thinking, but Lorna, you're after saying we're doing jumping. I know, but bear with me on this one. Okay, it's not just a pole on the ground, hey? It's a pole on the ground with wings or uprights either side of it. Now, that's a big difference. But seriously, we do want something that there's just a pole on the ground and you're putting something either side, like a wing or an upright. If you don't have a wing and an upright, a pot plant would do nicely. Anything that has a little bit of height to it, okay? But you're going to add it in there to the sides and you're going to use this to actually begin to train both yourself and your horse. And what's really nice about this is you are now really minimizing, you're actually taking it out of the equation, the risk of injuries, okay? Which means you can practice to your heart's content. And that is great news, particularly if you're feeling a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious, you're trying to get started, okay? So what I want you to do here is to begin thinking about the line that you're going to take with your horse, okay? So there's a line that you can travel on, anytime. And lines are important, not just for jumping. We need them for all the things, hey? We need to be able to ride a line. But there will be a line over the fence where basically as you approach, you're going to approach the fence if you want. And there's this point where you'll intersect, okay? Your line will intersect the pole. And ideally, we want right angles all round here, okay? We want it to be fairly perfect, like a cross, okay? So if you're training yourself to do that, it is really going to help you and your horse. Now, the other thing that you can use pole on the ground for is to pay attention to the rhythm. And the rhythm is really important in both the approach and also then the getaway. So as you actually pop the pole and you're leaving the pole, okay? So as you move away from the pole, after the pole, being able to maintain a consistent rhythm is really important. And again, this is going to help you with all of the things in your riding. It's not just that, okay? I also think that pole on the ground will kind of test your ability to be able to begin to see a stride. So you can begin to, if you want, gauge how long or how short your horse's strides are, how much ground your horse is covering, okay, at that exact moment in time, in that exact gait, in what you're doing, okay? So how much ground is he covering with each stride? Ooh, do I need to make a couple of adjustments here? And it helps to train all of that. Really useful, really beneficial. If you're not already using it, dive in today. You can get there, you can do it in walk, trot or canter, knock yourself out and see the difference there. Okay, second exercise is a cross pole. Now, who doesn't love cross poles? Like, can we be the appreciation society for cross poles? I love them. They're brilliant. Horses love them, riders love them, trainers love them. Everybody loves cross poles. They are amazing. They will help you to really begin to perfect that whole riding in the center of the jump, okay? Which is important to riding the line. So can you see how there's a bit of a natural progression here? That if you can ride the line over the pole and the ground, you can then begin to build the cross pole. It's going to help keep you on track, and you and your horse can begin to pop the cross pole as well, okay? Now, you can have cross poles really in all, I don't want to say all shapes because, hey, it's a cross pole, but all sizes. So you could go from having a 6-inch cross pole. So, and of course you're going to measure it in the center, okay, where the X is on where the two poles cross, okay, so where the X is of the jump, okay. But you could have 6 inches or 15 centimeters, right the way up to 3 foot or 90 centimeters. You could even go higher if you had longer poles, okay. But it is really and truly something that's so versatile, and it trains both horse and rider to begin jumping the center of fences and be happy about it, because as I said at the beginning, everybody loves a cross pole. I don't know. It's like, it puts you at ease. Okay. When you see it in front of you, you're like, okay, I can do this. And the horses generally feel the same way, okay? It's like really one of those things that if you're not utilizing this in your training, you can begin to utilize it now. Now, what is important to remember with cross poles is that while they are excellent at building confidence, okay, they can also be a little bit deceiving when it comes to the actual cross pole itself, okay? So you want to make sure that when you're jumping them, you're thinking about the height, about maybe 18 inches or so either side of the X, because that's really the height your horse is going to jump, okay? So it's important to take that into consideration as well. Now, what I would suggest doing with the cross pole is, again, thinking about the approach and the getaway, but I'd put an extra step in here. I would start by riding maybe a 20-meter circle before the cross pole. I would establish the rhythm in whatever gait I'm in, whether it be trot or canter, okay? So you're establishing the rhythm on a 20-meter circle, and maybe if you had the cross pole on the outside track of the arena, middle ways up the long side, okay, somewhere in your arena. Somewhere. Really gives you two options, doesn't it? Put the cross pole at ear B, okay? So middle way up the long side. But if you had it there, you could do a nice 20-meter circle beforehand. You could then head off up the long side, pop the fence, go straight afterwards, because that's a key part of this kind of exercise. So straight afterwards, and then finish it out with another 20-meter circle at the other end of the arena. What's this going to do is you're kind of taking the whole being able to maintain, well, first of all, establish and then maintain a rhythm to the next level, because now it's over a longer period of time. So it becomes more of a challenge, okay? So I think that that's a really good exercise to do. Of course, you can then just change rein and come back over it. And there you go. You've worked your horse equally on both sides as well. So something to think about. I'm going to highly suggest it. If the cross pole in and of itself is a little bit like, woo, scary, you could just do that same exercise with a pole on the ground and then build to the cross pole. Okay, the third exercise that I want to talk about today is adding in another fence, okay? Now, bear in mind, okay, let's just think about this, and especially this time of year as well. For many people, your interaction or our interaction with our relations, okay, our family, our relations, can, generally speaking, well, it encourages us, might just force us, to grow and develop as people. Okay, so and I know a lot of people right now in the world are kind of feeling this, yeah? Yeah, okay. Well, jumps that are related to each other, they do the same thing, okay, for you and your horse. So they will encourage you both to grow and develop your skills, okay? So being related means that basically the distance between the two jumps or the two poles on the ground is a set distance, okay? It's not just kind of thumb sucked off the top of your head. It's something that has been laid out. And key to this is that the laying out of it will initially be dictated by your horse. So remember I said at the beginning, kind of being able to see the stride and understand how much distance or how much ground your horse is covering with any one stride. Well, when you're setting up a related distance or two jumps that are related to each other, you want your horse's natural stride to be the thing that determines that distance, okay? Later, when you and your horse are feeling more comfortable and when you're jumping regularly and everybody's happy, yes, you can change the distance so as your horse can begin to get a little bit more uncomfortable and will have to change his stride. So he'll have to lengthen or shorten. And that is more training and you can move on to that and it's wonderful and it's fantastic. But initially, to make sure everybody's feeling happy and comfortable and all of the things, okay, it is important to make sure that you are setting it up for the comfort of you and your horse. I can't stress this enough, okay? Really, really, really important. And then again, start with a pole on the ground. With the pole on the ground, what's nice is that even if you get it a little bit wonky the first time, the distance, your horse will figure it out. He'll get over the pole on the ground. It's not going to be a train smash. And then you can roll the pole. You can roll it further away or roll it closer to the first jump, whatever the case is. And you're all the time wanting to change the second pole, by the way, okay? Keep your first pole or your first jump or your first pole on the ground is like your marker. And then just roll the second one a little bit. And whether you have to go further or come back, whatever, roll it until you get the right place, okay? That your horse, you're like, yeah, this is good. We're getting exactly 4 strides in between this two and, it feels really good. And then build it into a cross pole. And there you go. Now you've got something to work over with your horse. Now, again, I think regardless of your chosen discipline, if you can begin to add working over small fences into your training, it is going to help your riding so much, you and your horse, okay? It'll just develop this feel, the timing, and it helps you to develop a little bit more trust and confidence in each other as well, which, well, it's fairly priceless, isn't it? So if you would like to go deeper into this and you want to really learn how to get started, and I mean like started, my horse has never jumped a jump before in his life. Or I've never jumped a jump before in my life. Well, join Connection, November 2022. We're diving into that exactly. And you'll get step-by-step coaching and step-by-step training from me to help you and your horse very successfully add this into your training together. Okay, you can find all the details over at stridesforsuccess.com/join. I'll see you in there. Have a great week. Keep well. I'll chat to you soon. Be good. Bye.